And let me say this. There were 4 police officers that came to the house. There was one, let's say 5. There was one that came that took the report and told us to call back to get the status from, after the number is put in the system. She took the report. She took the information. When we found out more and wanted to include that information into the report, we called the police number 4545 to let them know that we wanted to include that in the information. And it was impossible to do. They said you'll have to have a cruiser come out or have to report it to a policeman or something. So we had to then call 911. It wasn't trying to antagonize the police. It was so that they could send a cruiser out here, just as they did before. We could give them the information, which was additional information, because we found out that after this young child wrote her email on the 23rd of October of last year. Wait a minute. Let me finish. I just want to say one thing. After she wrote her email on the 23rd of last year, October last year, she was then admitted to the emergency room at Children's Hospital on the 25th. Then there was a report that there was an investigation done by a detective of a reported sexual problem, and we don't have all the details because Franklin County Children's Services sealed it. Now, this child, from October of last year until this year, when she escaped about a month ago now and she was transferred to Cleveland after the other rape investigation that wasn't done. Then she was transferred to Cleveland. When she escaped from Cleveland about a month ago now and came back down here, she was in the hospital parking lot. She called her grandmother from Schockenstein's East. They went out and picked her up. Nobody knew this child was escaped. They pick her up, take her to the hospital. Before they can get out the parking lot at the hospital, the police surrounded her, separated her, did not let this child go into the hospital, did not give her any emergency services. And this child wrote on the 23rd of October that she was afraid. These boys tried to rape her, and she was scared. Now, all I can say is that's her voice in an email. And if she's the number one priority, if our children are the number one priority, and this person then wrote an email. Now, you guys are all on the email and all on the email catching sexual predators and all that on the email. So then she writes an email, says she is scared that her caseworker is threatening her, and she is scared of being raped, and then 2 days later she's in the hospital, and then a month later there's a police report that's covered up, and then she escapes and comes down here, and then she gets to the hospital, and they take her back into custody, and nobody can hear from her at all. Man, what's up? That's the Mason-Dixon line. That's slavery, and that's why the police have to become involved. But the police didn't do anything because they separated her. And when we went down and tried to report this, when we first found out, Mark Kapner, the policeman that was supposed to, and the special victims unit, he refused to take the police report. So what I'm saying to you is that all of these law enforcement officers, from the police chief Jackson on down, from the public safety, Mitchell Brown and them, from all of them, because we've been there, they have not done their procedure. The only one that did her procedure that followed it was Officer Barbo, a young lady, came in, black lady, took the evidence, said she was going to make a report. We got a number. Everybody else that followed up after that, the one came in here and told us when we called, he said that if she called 911 again, that he was going to take her to jail and he was going to wait outside for her. Now you tell me that's the way the police are supposed to operate? He didn't even say arrest. He said, if you call 911 again, I will take you to jail. We'll wait outside until you call, or for you to call. So the police, my wife, they are threatening her because they don't want this child to be public. And I'm asking you, I'm begging you, that this child needs hospital care. And for her sake, I'm asking you to do whatever the FBI can. If you can make a telephone call, you can ask the police what they were supposed to do. You can do anything you think you're supposed to do, but I'm saying please do something.
To concern Mr. Whitaker, but we don't do anything like that unless we have an open case.
Okay.
So unless there is a federal connection,
and that's what we're saying. You got the email.
The case will not be opened, and we can't make a phone call like that. That's all I can tell you.
You know what the police department's law enforcement
and I can understand
what their policy is.
Every police department is a little different, but I do know. I can guess that the officer's threat was probably that he was probably alleging that you're abusing the 911 emergency system.
Well, I'm sure they are, but the point...
their point would probably be, and maybe he wasn't very eloquent about it, that if you have additional information to give to the police about a matter such as this that doesn't involve, an emergency at the residence, you should go to the Columbus Police Headquarters to file the complaint.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you the only question I need to ask now is, and I appreciate your information, but let me ask you: do you know what the law enforcement, what their policy is here in Columbus? Do you know what they're supposed to do in the event of a reported child victim of rape when she reports something like this?
I do not know what their policy is.
Okay.
And it's not we do not. It is not our job to watch the local police.
But that's the problem, because you don't know what they were supposed to do, and we're telling you that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They did whatever they wanted to do.
If you have belief that certain officers didn't do what they were obligated to do, if it's Columbus Police, the Internal Affairs Division are the one that...
Look, we've been to the Internal Affairs Division. We've already been through the Internal Affairs Division. So the problem is that you need to know what they should do, because we brought it to you. We brought it to Theodore Morris. We told him that they were doing
you understand, Mr. Whitaker, even if they didn't do their job, okay, it's not the FBI's purview to tell them how to do their job.
Well, I'm not asking you to tell them how to do their job. All I want to know is, if you know what they're supposed to do, then you can tell them what to do. But you need to know, do you know what they need to do?
I don't know what their internal procedures are.
Okay.
And it's not going to do me any good. You don't know what their
internal procedures are? Then I really need you to find out. Because if they
have their job, Mr. Whitaker.
But that means you can find out whether or not it is in your purview. Because
our purview is not to oversee what the Columbus Police procedures are for investigating crimes.
But what I'm saying is,
that is a state violation.
Theodore Morris said if the police weren't doing what they were supposed to do, that the FBI had jurisdiction. And
there are limited circumstances in which we can investigate local police. Limited.
Well, Thomas Utz, I spoke to him, and he said, contact the FBI, because if the police weren't doing what they were supposed to do, then the FBI had jurisdiction to get involved.
Well, that's not necessarily so. And all I can tell you, Mr. Ricker, is I'll contact Ted the next time I can talk to him, and I'll pass along your concerns. But like I said, I don't know what has happened with that.
Well, I'd like for you to find out what the procedures are for policemen.
That's not my job.
But the point is,
and I have my own caseload, Mr. Weir. I don't have time to be finding out information for you.
I don't need the information. I've been.
Then why are you telling me I need to find out this information?
Because you need.
I don't have a case on this.
If you knew what they were doing and how they responded, and then you knew what our situation is, how they responded, then you could say that they didn't respond right. So you need to know what they.
Then you need to file a lawsuit against Columbus Police Department.
This is a criminal act. We're not talking about a civil act.
You believe it's a criminal act, but nothing you're saying. If they didn't follow their procedure, that means you have a lawsuit. If you're the victim.
No, I don't think so. But I think this.
Well, have you contacted an attorney with this information?
We are in the process of doing that, yes.
Well,
okay. But the point is, the attorney is not the problem. The problem is that Theodore Moore didn't know, and neither do you, what the police are supposed to do when they receive a report of rape. And so what they did was out of character. And I'm saying, because they didn't let her in the hospital. So you need to call and find out what their procedure is, because I'm telling you, they didn't do what they're supposed to do. So when you get them together, then you can call me back and let me know.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not doing that because I don't have an open case on this. I will pass the information on to Mr. Morris. Okay.
Well, I need Mr. Morrison to give me a call back, because I need him to do that today, because this child is still not receiving the medical attention that she needs.
Well, all I can say is I'll pass the information on.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, but when you call back,
you need to stop calling our main desk, though, because that gentleman all he does is answer the phones. And if you continue to call him and verbally, banter with him, you could end up having an injunction against you from calling us. Okay? You don't want to get to that stage, do you?
All right. Then can I talk? Do you have an email? Let me have your email so I can communicate.
I don't have email.
Who has email? Let me have the email for the office. Well, let me have the email for the office, and then I can communicate, and I don't have to call. There's an office number. There's one in Cincinnati, and there's one here. So let me have the number here.
If there is an email, it would be on the website. I don't personally know because I don't email it.
Okay, then I need to make one more call to your communications person and let him give me the email for the office, and I can then communicate through the office.
Like I said, it would be on the website. It would be on the Cincinnati Division website if there is a Columbus email.
I'm sorry?
Because he doesn't have access to it either. All he does is answer the phones.
All right.
Okay.
Then how do I communicate?
You need to keep contacting Mr. Morris, because he's the one you gave the information to.
Okay. Then will you have Mr. Morris call us back this afternoon?
I will try. I don't know where he's at today. I don't know if he's in or out, but I will give him the message.
Okay.
Okay.
Before he calls me back, I would like for him to review the police procedures so that he knows exactly what they are, so that we know how to proceed, because I'm thinking that he doesn't know as well as you don't know what the police are supposed to do. And so that's why you decided that it wasn't under your purview. But anyway, I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to talk to you. I appreciate the fact that your communications person allowed us to talk. I'm not trying to create an environment, a hostile environment with the FBI, but I am surprised at the way I'm being treated and the way my wife is being treated for the activities that we're trying to bring forth. So all I can say is that I don't want to become a pest, but I do want to see this child get the services, the wraparound services, and the hospitalization that she's entitled to. She's a child victim of rape. She wrote an email. The email said that she was scared. So the police should be aware of how to do that, and you should be aware of what the police are supposed to do when they get that, so that you'll know how to respond. So I'm sorry if I'm in any way obtrusive to you, but this is our passion. This child is a victim of rape that has not had the opportunity to be with her family at all for the last year. She hadn't been able to communicate. She ran away. When she ran away, don't you guys have something about runaways? There's something I know that you can be involved with. So when
we only get involved if there's been a kidnapping that travels interstate.
Okay. Well, the police have a response, and if you have Theodore Morris call me back, I would appreciate that he has the protocols for the police so that we can then know how to go.
All right. Well, like I said, I will pass the information on.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.